This Coast to Coast Entertainment Network program is brought to you by Beside Me Bracelets. Our bracelets are handmade for any occasion. Use the promo code Coast to Coast for 15% off. Visit their website at besideme.com. Suzanne's Paparazzi Jewelry. With 24-hour shopping available, use the code 160920 and show her some love, like she showed us. Reaper Apparel Company, a commitment to live your most authentic way every single day. Visit reaperapparelco.com for more information and a look at all of their apparel offerings. And by Good Day Embroidery, your local source for custom embroidery, screen printing, and more. Log on to gooddayembroidery.com for more information.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to On Deck. We moved this show from Sundays to Thursdays. I'm a little late here, but things came up. So welcome, everybody. Of course, this is Crispy Bacon. I'm James Gonzalez, and welcome again to On Deck. Make sure to tune in tomorrow to Entertainment Hour. It will be Randy and us two, and we have a lot to hopefully get to for tomorrow, and it will be fun. We're going to change things up a bit after our regular topics. We'll get into stories, and also, Chris, I'm really excited to get into some reels because, you know, you can show bloopers or odd plays or just cool things that happen in MLB. And we also got some things from minor league baseball and the College World Series to look at and talk about. So it's pretty cool. We're going to be all around. How are you this evening? Are you staying cool?
I am doing good, staying cool. Nothing like 100-degree temperatures. Yay. But other than that, not too bad. Rangers, I mean, we're going to talk about them, but they're on a skid.
So, are you uncooked or are you cooked right now, Bacon?
Medium, I guess.
We gotta get to
Crispy.
fully cooked. I don't want you going raw on me. Pause. All right. So let's talk about our team reports because I saw some things with the Texas Rangers. Now, Max Scherzer came back, I believe, on Sunday. The All-Star game is coming up at their new ballpark, Globe Life Field or Park?
I think Field. I get confused too.
Field. Just luckily there's a roof over the stadium now, unlike the old ones. But yeah, I'm looking at their record. They're 37-44, third in the West in the AL West. They're 8 games back. They're 4-6 in their last 10. They've lost 4 straight, by the way. They're having their difficult time, but they are starting a 4-game series in which they lost today to the Baltimore Orioles 11-2. But before that, they went to Milwaukee and had a difficult time there, getting swept in Milwaukee. So you're playing first place teams, and right now you're not having the time of your life. Also, the odd thing about this is you hosted Kansas City last weekend and you swept them. And the games weren't even close. It was 6-2, 6-0, and 4-0. And now you play first place teams and you have difficulty. So what's been going on with the Rangers? Any injury concerns?
You know, after last season when Texas won the World Series, and I know baseball is a longer season and anything's possible in it, but I kind of reserved myself to be like, oh, it's going to be really hard to go back to the World Series. I feel like it's going to be a down year, and it has been a down year. I didn't rule them out of the playoffs. I kind of ruled them out of a World Series, but I didn't have a playoff run. Well, I think we're going to make the playoffs, but it's going to be a lot of struggle, and you're going to have a lot of injuries. It's kind of like the Super Bowl hangover. I feel like in any other sport, whenever a team makes it or wins a championship, there's that hangover. And I think it bit Texas this year.
And I'm looking at some of the issues. They have a slumping offense. They're waiting for Josh Jung to come back. Remember, I believe he was hit on the wrist, the right wrist, by a pitch, and he hasn't been able to come back. But he's waiting, and those decisions will be coming soon. He'll test his wrist in the batting cage this weekend. But it just seems the offense isn't going. And then John Gray had an awful outing. 2 out of the last 3 starts against the Orioles today. He gave up 8 earned runs in 5 innings. Again, 7th straight road loss for the Rangers, and they're 17th in their last 21st away from Globe Life Field. So you're right about that. That was the only issue, that I could think of today. They got behind, and they couldn't really do anything else. Adolis Garcia did have a solo shot. Nathaniel Lowe had an RBI single, but again, it wasn't enough. The one thing I did like that I heard about the All-Star Game festivities for the Rangers is there's a trio of Rangers legends that will serve as All-Star ambassadors. And they're actually 3 of my favorite players of all time.
Oh, wow.
So that's really cool to see. So I have Adrian Beltre,
Pudge
Rodriguez, so 2 Hall of Famers there.
Hall of Famer
And then Michael Young. And I love, even though, Angels were, our, division rivals, I respected the hell out of these guys. And Michael Young is very good too. And all 3 of them, of course, have their number retired at the new ballpark, so that's pretty cool to see. Let's see, what else will they do? They'll just be there around and showing people around. And I just love Pudge Rodriguez. I think he doesn't get enough credit. He was awesome. Right away, too. When he came up in, when was it, 89 or 90, right away, he was throwing out runners. He was hitting for average. It was very, very cool to see. So my team report real quick about the Angels. They're 33-46. Right now, I believe there's no 1-0 Angels. There was a solo shot by Miguel Sanu. He just came back today from injury, and he hit a monster home run to left center field. Knew it as well. They're playing the Detroit Tigers, who are kind of similar in a way, only 3.5 games behind each other in the records, I should say. But the Angels, surprisingly, have been doing a little bit well as of late. They won 4 out of their last 5. They had the Freeway Series last week. They played only Friday and Saturday in LA, and they were able to split there. They did lose one of their starting pitchers, Patrick Sandoval. He'll be needing the UCL injury or elbow surgery, and he'll be out till 2026. And it's just unfortunate because we never seen the best of him, and I don't know if we ever will again. He's going to have to redefine himself. Actually, it's 2-0. Something just happened. I don't know what, but it's 2-0 Angels in the bottom of the 4th against Detroit. That's the first game of the 4-game series, by the way. Oakland came in, and thank God, because that's Isaiah's team, and the Angels just took care of them. Swept them 3 straight, and I had to message Isaiah about that right after. Doesn't make the Angels any better, but it feels good to beat them. And then going forward, I almost called you Isaiah. That would be an insult. Chris, almost there. The Angels actually have the easiest schedule. I mean, everybody's been talking about it, where they play Oakland 3 more times in the month of July, and then that's it. No more.
Go
ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, the thing about figuring out who has easiest schedule or hardest schedule, it's hard to determine because, I mean, yeah, you can go off of records and all that, but it's the team who wants it more. You could say it's a weak schedule, hard schedule, but who's going to be there?
And this is only going off of the teams that they're facing, right? So, I know Seattle's coming up twice, but everybody else is under 500, including the Rangers. Who else? Oakland 3 times. That's a big deal, though. When you talk about the schedule coming up, you have Detroit right now, who is struggling, but then you also have Oakland twice, the Cubs, who are really, really struggling. I don't know if you've seen where they are, but we'll talk about them in a little bit. The Rangers, Seattle twice, like I mentioned, and then Colorado to end the month. So there was ever a time to get hot and get going, it would be now. But we're talking about the Angels. They don't have Mike Trout, possibly for the rest of the year, by the way. And then Anthony Rendon, he's just starting to take batting practice, which would mean maybe in a couple weeks he'll be back. But he's not really wanted. Nobody's waiting for him to come back, honestly. I guess things are going okay, but it doesn't matter in the standings, really. Looking at the standings, the Angels are 33 and 46. They're 11 games back of first place, Seattle. And even though they've won 3 straight, they haven't really gained as much ground. They're 6-4 in their last 10. So let's quickly get to some series that are happening today and throughout. The Reds are playing the Cardinals. Cincinnati's trying to catch up with the Reds for a walk-hard spot. The Twins and Diamondbacks finished their series with a big bang from the Twins today. The Giants and Cubs had a fun series. The Giants ended up winning in 10 today, 5-3. The White Sox somehow shut out the Braves 1-0. That series has kind of been a surprise. Chris Sale got the loss in his return back to Chicago. Remember, he was there to start his career a long time ago. The Marlins defeat the Phillies. I mean, this was a getaway day, if ever. The struggling Blue Jays did defeat the Yankees 9-2. And then the Royals just held on to beat the Guardians 2-1. And the Guardians are really, really hot right now. But the Royal bullpen did well today. So that was some good matchups. I think one series. What's one series to look at? So I'm looking at maybe Padres Red Sox. It would have been the return for Bogarts, but he's hurt. Let's see, Guardians Royals for me, because they're both competing for that central spot. That's really big. Again, the Cubs and Brewers, you know how that's a rivalry, and Craig Counsell went from Milwaukee to the Cubs, so that everybody's going to be booing that manager there. So that's going to be a fun matchup. The Twins and Mariners in Seattle, shout out to Tim. And of course, another installment of the Giants and Dodgers. The Dodgers, of course, well above the Giants. Giants are kind of struggling right now. And the Dodgers, despite all their injuries to their pitchers, have done well. So for the weekend, Chris, is there any series that stands out to you and why? Is it your Rangers and Orioles? Is it somebody else?
Being biased, I'm probably leaning towards, the Rangers, Orioles. Cubs, Milwaukee seems interesting, just because of that factor of you had their manager or even players, jumping from one team to the next or to the other. That's always interesting. Even in other sports, you're facing that team and a lot of the players go from one team to the next.
Yeah, I'm gonna be listening to that for sure.
Those are probably my two.
All right, so in the standings, you have Seattle at first place in the AL West, but they've kind of been skidding just a tad. They are 4-6 in their last 10. Meanwhile, Houston is in second place. They've climbed up the ladder. They've won 8 out of their last 10, and they've won 7 straight, by the way, Houston. They've done it with their offense. Remember, they have all their starting pitchers out, and they might be busy in this trade deadline. We mentioned Rangers losing 4 in a row, the Angels winning 3 in a row, and Oakland now losing 5 in a row is 17 games out of first place. Oh, thank you. So the Orioles, I'm looking at that right there. They're tied for first with the Yankees. Those two keep going back and forth. It's really, really fun between those two.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, you have everybody else in that division. Boston at 7.5 behind, Tampa 11 behind, and the Jays. They've been the talk of the trade deadline. Will they move Bo Bichette to the Dodgers? Will Vladimir Guerrero Jr. be traded somewhere? Will the manager, John Snyder, get fired? It's a real... All these things are true possibilities. Meanwhile, they're 13.5 behind, and they haven't been able to climb out of the hole. Now, I go to the Central, and it's pretty simple. The Guardians have been great throughout. They're 7 games ahead of Minnesota there. The Royals are 8 games back. They kind of hit a skid, but they're still in the thick of things for the wild card. Detroit, though, has fallen just like the Cubs. I mean, both started hot, and then they went mid, and then down. They're 14.5 out. But you don't want to be the White Sox, Chris. They're 31 games.
I don't think you want to be the Marlins or the White Sox.
No, unless you're trying to get out of there.
Or any team that's last place.
I think they were the first to 60 losses. Yeah, they're the first to 60 losses at 22-61. In the National League, I'm looking at them, and Philadelphia, they have a whole 8-game lead over the Braves. The Braves are banged up despite the offense they have. The Mets have struggled. The Nationals have struggled. And then, you mentioned the Marlins, 24 games back already. In that Central Division, Milwaukee's held first place, but the division has kind of turned over when it comes to 2 through 5. St. Louis is now in second, 6.5 back. Pittsburgh, 8.5 back. Cincinnati has not been able to come alive. They're 10 games out. But then the Cubs, they went from competing for first place, Chris, in a whole month. They went from first to last at 10.5. They've just struggled. They were in trade talks of possibly getting someone we'll mention later, but there's no need for that now to talk about that. It is panic time, and I think it's fitting because I had Milwaukee or St. Louis, I think. I had Cincinnati and Milwaukee. I didn't have the Cubs competing, I think, for first place. And then National League West, of course, it's the LA Dodgers at 8.5 ahead of San Diego. Arizona's trying to make a move, but I don't think they're going to do it. 11.5 behind. The Giants, who I mentioned, are 12 back, and then the Rockies are 23 games back already. Quickly for the wild card in the American League, the Yankees have the first spot by 7 games. Minnesota has the second spot by 1 game, and Kansas City's in the third spot right there. But guess what? Boston's a half game behind, and then you have the Astros 3.5 back, and then the Rays are 4 games behind, or 4 games behind that third spot for the wild card. So it shows you can stay in this thing. But for me, Chris, I have a thing. If you're 5 and below, you still have a shot. If you're 6 or more, you're out of it, in my opinion. And you have...
Like, what do you mean 5 or below?
Oh, okay. How many games back you are?
Okay.
So I'm looking at Detroit and Toronto are both 6.5 back. And then you have Texas at 7, the Angels at 10. And, of course, Oakland at 16 games back in the wild card spot. So I have that little line where it's like, okay, 5 or less, you're in it. 6 or more, you're pretty much out of it. And it'll come time to sell some players, right? And those teams will have to figure out if they're sellers or buyers. And that's kind of the philosophy I go with. It's just so much ground to gain when everybody's in it, though. And they're vying for that one last spot. it just doesn't seem like it's going to happen for some teams. In the wild card, Atlanta has been able to hold that first wild card spot. They're 3 games above St. Louis and San Diego. Meanwhile, somehow the Mets are a game and a half behind. Pittsburgh's 2.5, Arizona's 3. San Francisco and Washington are 3.5 behind. The Cubs are 4.5, as well as Cincinnati. So it's amazing how these 3 wildcard spots have kept certain teams in it, but it's only vying for like one spot.
So basically,
Go ahead.
I was going to say basically that cutoff Cincinnati. If you're going by what you're saying.
Yeah. No, definitely. But I think it's only going to get worse for certain teams that are that much behind. It's only going to get worse.
Yeah.
So things will start to clear up and buyers and sellers will show up. I truly believe that. Okay.
I'm thinking that Miami and Colorado should just call it a day. And
oh, yeah. Oakland and the White Sox, they're all going to be selling. I guarantee it. So I don't know if you have the pictures, Chris, but I can just announce it with the National League All-Star finalists for the game in your area.
You mean American League?
Yeah, I have National League and American League. I have both here.
Right, but I mean, Rangers are in American.
The Rangers, yeah. The American League representative this year. For National League All-Star finalist, of course, you have Shohei Ohtani, of course, at DH. You have Bryce Harper named as the signed first baseman, being the leading vote getter. You would have thought it would have been Shohei Ohtani, but it isn't. But for the let's do American League since you have it up there.
That's what you're talking about.
Yeah. Let's do American League since it's up there. Okay, so the finalists for the American League, you got first base Ryan Mountcastle, no doubt about it. Vladimir right behind him. Jose Altuve above Marcus Semien for second base. Gunnar Henderson over Bobby Witt Jr. at short. And then third base, you have Jose Ramirez over Jordan Westenberg of Baltimore. What I love about this, the man on the cover there, Audie Rutschman, is the leading vote getter for catcher over Salvador Perez. Yordan Alvarez, who may be the biggest threat when it comes to designated hitter, I guarantee it, for the Astros. He's the DH, and Ron O'Hearn is another Oriole that will be there. In the outfield, you get 4 of them, and you have Juan Soto, of course. Stephen Kwan, who plays a great left field. He had a throw today to second to hold Renfroe at first. It was amazing. And then Santander for the Orioles and Kyle Tucker. Let's see. So the outfield competing for 2 spots following Aaron Judge's automatic bid, because he's the leading vote getter. So that means Harper and Judge were the leading vote getters in each league. So let's go to the National League, because we saw the American League just have a bunch of Astros, Orioles. You throw in some who was it? You throw in.
You got Diamondbacks. You got.
Oh no! For the American League, I meant.
Oh. Well, you said National League, so I switched.
You're right. I switched it up because my thing was gone. Well, I'm happy to see, though, there's some Royals in there again and some Guardians. That's pretty cool. All right, so National League, of course, Bryce Harper gets the automatic bid. But for second base, it's not too much of a loaded panel there. You have Ketel Marte starting, and then Luis Ariz for San Diego. But he plays first for the Padres, but he's voted in as a second base representative. Mookie Betts and Trey Turner, former teammates with LA, get in LA and Philadelphia for shortstop. And then also for third base, you have another Philly, Alec Baum and Manny Machado of San Diego. Mm-hmm. For the catchers, William Contreras for Milwaukee. He's had a breakout season. And Realmuto right behind him for Philadelphia. DH, of course, is the man on the cover with Shohei Ohtani and Kyle Schwarber, the modern-day Babe Ruth, for the Phillies. And in the outfield, it's pretty stacked. You have two Padres, Jurickson Profar, which deserves it. He's only making $1 million this year for the Padres, and he's been their clutch player all season long. He's been amazing. His teammate, of course, Fernando Tatis Jr. in right field, he'll be there. Christian Yelich of Milwaukee, Teoscar Hernandez of LA, and then two Phillies again. Brandon Marsh and Nick Castellanos will be the other outfielders. So, man, it seems like National League is dominated by the Phillies, the Padres, the Dodgers. And American League, you have a lot of Orioles and a lot of Astros. It's just a lot of fun here, I think. Any reaction to the finalists here?
The only thing I have a question is, and I'm sure a lot of people do, is why does Harper get an automatic hit?
Oh, because he's the leading vote getter.
Okay.
Same thing with Aaron Judge.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the only the difference there. It's almost like in the NBA when that happens. The leading vote getter used to be able to get to pick the teams as well. All right, so we'll get off that and we'll go to Edwin Diaz now. I believe it was Monday. He was suspended for a 10-game foreign substance, violating that policy. And what I was reading about is that anything sticky, the umpires are taught to throw them out. You know, anything sticky. And, you know, sweat can be wet, but
I was going to say.
Anything sticky, though, they're taught to see that and throw people out. And it was kind of a shock from last week when I heard about it, because Diaz is one of the nicest people. He's one of the most beloved people. Remember last year he got hurt in the WBC and missed all of last year, and now he's here with the Mets, and he's not doing as well. So maybe he needed that little help of whatever was sticky. They didn't really say what it was, but the umpire confirmed that it was illegal and sticky, and that's what we're looking out for. You have any reaction to that?
I mean, I'm happy, you know, that he's doing better, but I don't know. I have mixed thoughts on it, but I don't know.
Okay, so the next thing was the Giants. Of course, they lost Willie Mays last week. And on Monday, I believe it was Monday, they had everybody wearing the number 24. And they had a whole ceremony before the game. Barry Bonds was caught there crying before the game, before the ceremony. They were doing a tribute to Willie Mays. And, of course, that was his godson, was Bonds to Willie Mays. So that was crazy to see Bonds, show emotion like that. We really haven't seen that, I don't think. But that was a big loss for the MLB community. I think we talked about that on the last Sports Minute, I want to say.
Yeah, I believe so.
I think it was, but that was a big loss. There's some other news too. Dallas Keuchel was traded from Seattle to Milwaukee. He's been a pitcher. Remember him with the Astros coming up. He was pretty good. And then he kept getting injured and he kept hopping on off and on teams. And Milwaukee needed some pitching help. And I truly believe this, Chris, with the injury to Patrick Sandoval for the Angels. Milwaukee had him on their radar, and they had to go a different route because of Sandoval's injury. So just another stop for Dallas Keuchel. Speaking of the Astros, a couple of weeks ago they released Jose Abreu. If you remember, Chris, he was sent down to the single A to get work done because he was batting under 100. You know, it was very shocking for the 2020 MVP 5 years later, 4 years later, just having a hell of a time trying to be good. And the Astros, remember, paid him a pretty good chunk of money for amount of years to have him play first. And I thought, oh man, the rich get richer. But it's just been a shocking turn of events, I think, for Jose Abreu and the Astros. Even though now, Chris, they're doing well since he's gone, and it's kind of odd.
Mm-hmm. That is kind of interesting.
Yeah. Go ahead, Chris.
No, I'm just saying that was interesting that he got traded, and they seem to be, doing better.
It's the weirdest thing. So the Mets, they may be keeping or maybe trading Pete Alonso. He's slated to become a free agent of the season. And I think these landing spots have kind of changed. Right away, crosstown Yankees, Mariners, Royals, Astros. Since we mentioned Jose Abreu not at first anymore, maybe they'll make that move. The Twins could get some help. The Reds can get some help. The Pirates, the Rangers even. I don't see that, though. They have Lowell. I think they're good with him. They don't want to whatever team that makes that move will have to sacrifice the future in some way for just the rental. And I think you don't want to do that. Unless you're Cleveland. If you're serious about competing, in which they're in first place, they've been all year long, I'm going to guess he goes to the Guardians just based on that. What do you think, Chris?
Can you repeat that one more time?
Where do you think Pete Alonso will go via trade if the Mets decide to become sellers before the deadline?
Probably somewhere where he believes he's a contender.
Yeah, the teams I mentioned, it's any one of those teams.
He could go anywhere. I don't know.
Not our teams, but I think, like you mentioned, contenders. I just have a weird feeling about Cleveland. I really do.
In a good way or a bad way?
Good way, where they're already in first place. They have a young group that's really good. They have more on the way too. And if they need a little boost of power, Pete Alonso will be that.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be a fun fit. Let's get to that umpire who's suspended for gambling. Now, Pat Hoberg was reportedly disciplined for gambling violation. This was an umpire a couple of years ago who had a perfect strike zone during a World Series, and that is pressure beyond pressure. He's one of the good ones in the league, but it's just odd because we had the Ohtani gambling scandal, and now we have an umpire doing it. He's reportedly appealing the decision. He said he didn't bet on baseball. There was no evidence he manipulated games that he was working. And he's only 37 years old, by the way. They began investigating him in spring training this year and removed him from the field during the investigation. So imagine that. An umpire getting escorted off the field, and you're like, wait, who's going to umpire? Wait, what's going on? So, yeah, he's denied betting on baseball, but they removed him from the field. Again, they didn't find evidence, but it's a very it's a very serious situation. He's been calling games, by the way, since 2014. He's became a full-time MLB umpire in 2017. And he's built the reputation, Chris, as one of the most accurate umpires in the game. So that's why I know him. That's why he was really good. 2020. No, I don't know him for sure, but I don't know him outside of the game. But like I said, in 2022, in that perfect World Series game, it was really, really something. So it's just weird that he got disciplined for gambling, but it wasn't for MLB games, and the evidence isn't out there. Do you have any takes on that?
Man, it seems like no matter if it's football, basketball, baseball now, yet they're trying to endorse gambling, whether it's DraftKings, FanDuel, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, come out and gamble, this and that, and then players are going, well, all right. I mean, they're endorsing it, why not? But then the leagues are going, well, you can't do that to our sport, but you can do it to others. It's okay.
I just hate the hypocrisy on that. It's just terrible. All right, so let's get to the new segment of our show, and we'll run through these pretty quick. It'll be a fun little ending of the show here. So the first video, Chris, what do we have here?
I can just play it. Hold on 1 second.
Sure.
I'll bring it up. It's like, there you go.
Hopefully be the one in order of what I have here.
Yeah. So here's the first one. And I'll play it real quick. Don't know if that sound, but we'll see.
Oh yeah, you would have to press the volume button on the right
There you
corner there. Because this one is pretty cool, and we got someone in the On Deck chat talking about it. So basically, Yuniesky Noel homered in his first league at bat, and the reaction with his former teammates in AAA, it was amazing. I don't know if you have the volume on or not, but
I do.
The clubhouse went crazy because remember he just got called up, and that's always a tremendous feat to get called up, and just the passion and the joy. I believe someone in our chat was admiring this as well. So that was cool to see.
Yeah.
We can move on to the next one here. And this one, if it's the right one, this one is this one is stupid.
Stupid how? Stupid.
I gotta see if
funny.
Both. Yeah. Okay. This one here. This one is weird. And let me set. Oh yeah. I'll let it play out.
Okay. Set it up. I can maybe replay.
The shortstop caught the ball. There's one out. So he caught it, and then the runner from first is running to second, and he needs to get back to first. Well, the runner doesn't run. Instead, he knows that he's stuck. So usually a shortstop will throw to first for the easy double play. But let it play, Chris, and we'll see how it ends up.
Let me get this sound going. Here we go.
So the shortstop catches the ball. He runs all the way to first, and everybody's like, what the hell? Throw the ball. And then the first baseman, after that, he's like, what the hell are you doing? Throw, the runner can go back to first and, get back, and we don't have the third out. Nationals, they've been a little weird this year. And they had a little issue with the Padre fans and Padre players. You can see the first baseman right there on the right side, and he's about to go, what are you doing? Like, why didn't you throw to me? Yeah, right there. Right. He's like, what the hell are you doing? It was just amazing, this play. It was one of those that 6 unassisted, by the way, if you score it. All right, so the next one, this one is crazy.
Set it up.
All right, so if it's the one I'm thinking of, the pitcher is turned away from the batter, and then he faces this one. So the batter's already stepped in, but he's not ready. But the pitcher isn't ready. Instead, the batter gets the violation, and the pitcher gets a strikeout. And it's like the comment it means, it's ridiculous. So you got to be ready by a certain time, but the pitcher isn't ready. So the pitcher is manipulating the clock, and it's just ridiculous. So let it play out. Reminder, there's 2 strikes.
Uh-huh.
So the pitcher's getting ready. He's not ready yet. The batter is ready. He's ready to go. But somehow the batter gets the violation, even though he's in the box, but the pitcher isn't ready. There has to be changes or a leeway with this system, because
Definitely.
the batter has to be ready by 8 seconds, but the pitcher can do whatever he wants as long as he gets rid of the ball by no seconds left on the pitch clock. It's just a little manipulations by Spencer Turnbull here. All right, so the next one is something I really wanted to happen, but it didn't happen. It involves Shohei Ohtani, I want to say, of the Dodgers. They were in Chicago playing the White Sox, and the Dodgers bring their own bat boy, Javier, and he saves the interpreter and Shohei from a foul ball hitting any one of them. And you can see it coming at him, and Javier puts both his arm or hands out to catch it. It was a pretty cool moment there. Yeah, Javier is his name, and he's been a Dodger bat boy for a while.
You want me to play it?
Yeah, play it real quick, because you could just see how it develops. Foul ball coming at him. Boom.
Oh yeah.
Boom.
Quick on your feet.
And Shohei goes, "Thank you." All right, so the next one, his wrist.
It looked like it. The way he was holding his wrist.
Well, yeah, that does hurt though. That does hurt. Those do hurt, but yeah, Javier has been a G for a long time. Next one here, I'm trying to remember, so let it play out and I'll try to describe it because I do not remember it. I should though.
Let's see what we got.
And this happened during the Padres national game. Oh, yeah. Okay. So, C.J. Abrams, the batter for Washington, he hits a base hit to, I believe, right field. It drops in. And then he doesn't get back to first on time. He was lazy in that sense. And just like Mufford said here in the chat, he said he was picked off earlier in the game too at first trying to get back. But look at this. Right field base hit, right? And what you do, you stay at first. You go back to first, you run back to first, and boom! You get tagged before you get your feet on first base. Look at this. Watch this. Boom! And his leg isn't, his foot is not on first base yet. Look at this. Boom! How are you that clueless? And then how are you, as the first base coach, Gerardo Parra, how are you not telling him to get back to first and you see the throw coming from the shortstop? Watch this. How are you not telling him? How are you not telling him to get back? Like, that's just laziness. And, again, he got picked off earlier in the game, too, trying to get back to first. So, not a good homecoming for C.J. Abrams. All right, I think there's a couple more left. And this one here, please don't be eating anything if you're watching. Or if you do, stop eating and get it digested. Even bacon as well.
I'll give you a few seconds here.
Hunter Green was pitching, and he had a terrible performance in the weekend against the Pittsburgh Pirates. Yeah. As you can see, that's not linguine or pasta. He might have been going through some dehydration. It is getting hotter.
He pulled a McNabb.
That's right. So, yeah, they came and looked at him. It could be dehydration, but he had a poor start against the Pirates, and I believe the Pirates won this game as well.
Did you see the catcher when he was going in the mound? He stood in the spot where it happened.
I did not. Let's see that. One more again. That'd be funny. He was trying to cover it up. Like, why would you even go near it?
See the spot right there?
Oh, yeah. Let's go.
He steps right.
You know why, though? He's trying to avoid it, but then that's where the pitcher lands. when he throws. So that's a very
Right.
important place. And now you have a puddle there, which is never good. You see that when there's rain going on, that they
Yeah.
need to readjust the mound. Well, guess what? It was something else that was liquidy.
I get if it's rain, but
Mom spaghetti. All right, the last one is coming from the College World Series final, and it was a matrix move for the champion Tennessee Vols, who finally got their monkey off their back. And this one was an acrobatic play. It got them the 6th run. They were able to hold on, did the Vols, for their first championship in baseball over the Aggies. By the way, did you see, Chris, the Aggies coach said, "Oh, I'm not going to go anywhere." And guess what? A day later, he goes
went
to
to
the
Texas.
Texas Longhorns.
yeah, I saw that they broke it down here on local radio, and it's like, and they're like, we all knew he was coming. I mean, really? But
So
I'll play it through.
that's just amazing to me. But watch this. The throw beats him. He swims around him and gets the hand on the plate without the tag. And most people thought he got the tag on. There was a big review on it. But
I'm
you'll see
looking
from
at
the
it.
other angle. Well, there
It's
is no
under
other
review.
angle.
He
But,
was not even close. Maybe the Tennessee player barely hits his leg. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To catch his leg.
Now, back then, Chris, remember, runners would run into catchers, and the
Yeah,
ball would
it
have
looked
to
like
come
that.
out.
The
But
way
they
he
are
slid.
that's against the rules now, and you're ejected right away. Yeah, just a great move by this runner.
I don't think it was intentional though. I think it was just
No.
his
He was trying to
inertia.
get out of the way.
Yeah.
You're right in his path, and you're just trying to get around the tag, which is coming there. Oof.
Yeah.
Get away from it. So that was fun. Hopefully we keep this going. We have visual evidence of things.
We played our own
And-
highlights.
Yeah, these are fun. These are fun because,
Yeah.
Not only are you going to get this now, but you're going to get this in the next show C2C will do coming up right after this. We have a doubleheader, Chris, coming up of
We're
kicking
like
it.
baseball,
So
double header.
that's right. So we're going to have that coming up soon for all of you. We're going to see crazy videos and food to hopefully taste and not throw up. And we'll get out of here with that. Chris, you have any final thoughts?
Yeah, thanks everyone for watching, tuning in. I can't believe I broke down and analyzed somebody throwing up, but hey, you gotta do what you gotta do, and thanks everyone for watching and tuning in.
The bacon was raw, as Gordon Ramsay would say. And we'll get
Raw.
out of here with that. I really enjoyed this on deck, and hopefully we'll have a thing on Thursdays, and hopefully others can join on as well.
Yeah.
This was an abbreviated show. So let's get out of here. We'll see you on Kicking It in maybe 10 minutes or so.
Sure.
Later, folks.
Later.